Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Scar Zone. My name's Mike, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about the Scar 17's trigger. As you may have heard in this show and others on the internet, the Scar 17's trigger is one of the most complained about parts of this firearm. The stock trigger is a heavy 6 to 9 pound pole. That's very useful on the battlefield, but for civilian use, you'll want something lighter, say for home defense or even match competitions. This is what's called the battle trigger. The theory behind it is that it has a heavy pole. This is in order to prevent you from having an accidental discharge. But in civilian use, something like this is not really desired. Having a heavier trigger with longer takeout can and will affect how you shoot your firearm for accuracy. Single stage or two stage triggers generally tend to be one of those topics that you can find lots of endless pros and cons about across the internet. We, however, are not going to do that since, of course, this is about the Timney trigger, and she is as single as they get. Timney offers this trigger on their website for about $325, although you can find it cheaper on other sites. Installation of this trigger is easy. It is just a drop-in one piece. However, you will have to remove the stock trigger, and in doing so, it's a good idea to keep that stock trigger around. It's always nice to have a spare. To test functionality, I performed a succession of rapid-fire engagements. First with the original stock trigger, and then moving over to the Timney. The results are pretty clear, and the Timney obviously comes out on top as far as rapid succession firing. Now, I wish I had more rounds in order to prove out the Timney compared to the Scar trigger, but it's very much there. And anybody would agree with me that when you have a better trigger, you're going to have better trigger control. Better trigger control is going to allow you to have more accuracy downrange. The Timney actually gives you that, allowing for a lighter pull on the trigger. It's a crisper and cleaner break. Therefore, you're going to have more consistent printing downrange with your groups. Now, not everybody owns a Scar 17, and if you're wondering if the Scar 16 would benefit from a Timney trigger, I think the answer would probably be yes. With the Scar 16 being a 5.56, lighter recoil, better trigger management is going to be the case with that. So swapping out the factory trigger to the Timney trigger is one of those things that you're going to definitely take advantage of. And with that, I'm feeling pretty satisfied with this review of this trigger. Compared to the factory, it's a definite must for you. If you're wondering whether or not you should go with a Timney or a Geisley, I'm going to have a Geisley trigger review in the coming months, if not sooner. But for right now, if you're just really curious about the Timney, it's a really sweet upgrade. It's one that really is needed for this. If all the upgrades I've ever talked about for the Scar 17 and or 16 for that matter a trigger upgrade is the one that I think anybody should really, consider, throw your money towards. It's where it's at. It's going to bring this rifle up to the next level, and it's going to bring it to where you really want it to be. Thanks again for watching. This is Mike at the Scar Zone. Please don't forget to hit the like button, leave comments. That always helps out. I always get back to you guys. Find us on Facebook, and of course we're on Instagram as well. Thanks again for watching, and keep shooting.